The friendly neighborhood Spider-Man has seemingly done all that a Spider-Man can in live action. He's saved the day, got the girl, redeemed the irredeemable, and even traveled the multiverse to save a variant of himself from self-destruction. While he was able to battle some new foes to add to his iconic list of rogues during his multiversal adventures, there are a few from the comics that have eluded him, from a Mysterio, who he may or may not have actually gone toe-to-toe with in his universe, to Electro, who he did finally battle, albeit with fewer personal stakes when he visited Earth 616 or Earth 199999, whichever one it actually is.
As much as Kevin Feige can make us think that it's 616, it is 199999.
But one enemy who has always posed one of the most intimidating threats, at least physically, to our favorite wall crawler within the comics is Carnage, the spawn of Venom and the most terrifying symbiote that we've ever seen in live action. Today, we will be going over a battle between the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man and the homicidal serial killing symbiote Carnage. This will be a battle between the two live-action versions of the characters, so that means we will only be using material canon to the Marvel Cinematic Universe multiverse that is related to those characters involved, so that means no 616 comics or anything else unrelated to these two specific versions of the characters. So with all that said, who would win between the wicked Carnage and Spider-Man?
Soon come chaos.
Chaos soon come.
As just mentioned, Carnage is the spawn or offspring of Venom. In an altercation with Eddie Brock, a death row inmate and notorious serial killer named Cletus Cassidy bit the reporter and was infested with a portion of the Venom symbiote which had bonded with Eddie. This portion of Venom merged with Cassidy's blood and formed a new being, Carnage, who suppressed the lethal injection of deadly drugs that would have killed Cletus and then broke him out of prison. As a being of pure evil, Carnage has no inhibitions when it comes to chaos and killing. Carnage is much more powerful than his father Venom, so much so that Venom doesn't believe that he and Eddie even have a chance to win against Carnage. The symbiote is able to toss around and crush crew cab trucks, which at a high end weigh over 7,000 pounds. He can lift and crush multiple police vehicles simultaneously, barrel through reinforced concrete walls and high security holding cells meant to contain Frances Barrison, who with her shriek could shake the massive chapel at the end of the film and began to break apart pieces of it. So of course her holding cell would need to withstand the full force of her screams, and Carnage crushes the containment unit with little to no effort. When some of these feats are calculated, Carnage consistently outputs over 1 billion joules, making him building level, which makes sense. He's able to easily crush various structures without a second thought. However, Carnage isn't simply a wrecking ball of power. He's also a cunning combatant who is able to use his various abilities in battle to gain the upper hand. Of course, like every symbiote, Carnage is able to regenerate. Being more powerful and just as capable as his father Venom, Carnage can protect his host from various attacks, and should Cletus become incapacitated, Carnage can heal him completely. Shattered bones? No problem. Even a killing blow to a normal human isn't an issue for the symbiote to heal up. The only way to defeat Carnage permanently would be to physically rip him from his host and allow him to slowly die, or simply kill the symbiote when it's detached. As when a symbiote is without a host, they are nowhere near the level of strength or durability that they are with one. However, there are limits to his regenerative powers and incredible durability. Symbiotes are notoriously weak to sound and fire, so taking Carnage's insane regeneration into account, the only way to defeat him is through loud noises, flame, or ripping him from his host and not allowing him to merge with them again. However, this may not be so simple, as Carnage is able to survive having gasoline poured on him and then being set aflame, displaying that while his weaknesses may be setbacks, they are not one-shots against him. Carnage can also form deadly weaponry from his body, shape-shifting his limbs into various blades, spikes, claws, and more with just a thought. Additionally, he can fire out these blades as projectiles if he needs to create space or attack from a distance. However, one of Carnage's most lethal fighting tactics is his ability to conjure a tornado by spinning his body quick enough to summon enough force to whip the wind into a furious tornado. To create a tornado, he would need to spin at speeds of at least 65 miles per hour, but tornadoes have been known to twist at speeds of over 300 miles per hour. However, I believe Carnage's winds would far exceed this. Venom is able to easily react to and dodge gunfire, and Carnage would scale to this speed, giving him reaction times of up to 2,000 miles per hour or supersonic speeds, which means that his spinning tornado would likely be at these supersonic speeds as well. Finally, Carnage also has highly enhanced senses. Superior to Venom in every way, Carnage should also have his extrasensory abilities that essentially grant him a 360-degree line of sight, allowing him to see everything around him simultaneously, as well as giving him the ability to sense unseen opponents. But this is also shown on screen when he opens up a hole in his chest, allowing the bullets to fly through and kill the officers behind him. Now, to discuss the strength of Spider-Man, I've again enlisted the help of frequent Key Issues collaborator Crisis to break down everything you need to know.
The friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is arguably the most accomplished Spider-Man so far put to film. Acting as the sole crime fighter in his universe, saving New York and likely even the world from destruction for some part of 20 years. In his storied career, he's accrued quite a series of feats, showcasing his amazing strength. Even in his first movie alone, wherein he's constantly getting better acclimated to his newly gained powers and therefore his strength, he becomes so formidable that the Green Goblin considers him quote-unquote all but invincible. All but meaning more or less, or practically unbeatable in this case. Which means Goblin sees Spider-Man as being above his own hyper-lethal arsenal of explosive weapons. If Goblin saw just blowing up the hero as a valid victory condition, he wouldn't consider him practically invincible after all. Based on this, using inverse square law, Spidey would be able to endure pumpkin bombs shown skeletonizing 6 people, requiring up to around 167 billion joules or city block level, as well as Goblin's bridge engulfing missiles, again calculated to be within those same city block busting levels of force. Keep in mind that Goblin considers putting Spider-Man in a position where he'd fail to save someone and just willingly let Goblin kill him as pretty much the only way to beat Spidey, rather than just hating him with any of these weapons. Spider-Man is even still able to mollywop Goblin after getting beat on and blown up just prior, further proving this point. As far as speed, the Webhead would as well be capable of dodging and reacting to automatic gunfire, performing this feat himself, and as well scaling to the likes of Doc Ock and Venom, who were shown bobbing and weaving through SWAT teams' gunfire. It's worth noting as well that this version of Spider-Man would be this fast even without his spider sense, as it was actually ineffective against Venom, just like in the comics. And Peter could still react to and tag the symbiote in Spider-Man 3. He wasn't just getting blitzed or anything, granting him reaction speeds at around 2,000 miles per hour, and that doesn't even account for No Way Home, where he can keep up with the other 2 Spider-Men and their villains, who all scale to the speed of lightning. Our beloved Peter 2 is even shown performing that very feat in the film itself, moving alongside the other 2 Spider-Men as they dodge lightning, with these electric blasts traveling at around 99,000 miles per hour or at massively hypersonic speeds. He boasts the abilities of precognition, allowing him to sense danger up to multiple city blocks away. He can make various constructs with his organic webbing, such as bullet-like projectiles or shields. He's a master acrobat and an unpredictable fighter. a genius capable of assessing his enemies and taking full advantage of his environment or his prior knowledge of his opponents to secure his victories. He as well possesses a healing factor, allowing him to recover from cuts or blunt force trauma much faster than any normal human, and he's as well, soundly, even easily, the greatest dancer in the multiverse, only rivaled by Star-Lord.
Dance off, bro! Me and you!
Now dig on this. So it's clear that Spider-Man has the advantage everywhere. He's stronger, faster, arguably more durable, and that's not even accounting for all of his feats seen throughout his various adventures. However, Carnage has the regenerative abilities to give him a chance in the fight. That chance being surviving long enough to bond himself with a new host, that host being Peter Parker. Would Spider-Man be able to overpower and remove the symbiote from himself like he did with Venom? I'm not entirely sure it would be as easy this time, as Carnage has a far more robust personality that was created by spawning inside the mind of a homicidal maniac. Carnage is also seemingly far more intelligent than the symbiote Spider-Man had faced before, so simply ripping him off might not be that easy. He could always try to dive deep into Spider-Man and take over from there. Would Carnage be able to impose his will onto Spider-Man, taking control of the body for good?
Well, when the symbiote originally attached to Spider-Man, it was while he was asleep. While lucid, it would likely be easier for Spider-Man to tear the symbiote off of himself if that was something he did not want to happen. Not to mention that bonding and creating a long-lasting symbiotic relationship requires the alien and its host to be a strong match. While Spider-Man was clearly a suitable match for the Venom of his universe, we're not sure how he'd bond with Carnage. Peter and Carnage's worldviews are not going to align, to put it mildly. The odds of Peter and Carnage becoming symbiotic are close to zero, and when the symbiote and its host aren't symbiotic, there is a natural struggle between them and their connection weakens, making it easier for the alien to be detached.
However, would Spider-Man's natural regenerative abilities force the match to be successful? If so, Spider-Man has a real issue, as when the Venom symbiote attached to him, it also siphoned Spider-Man's skills, abilities, and even some of his power, something Carnage, Riot, and Venom have shown the ability to do as well. So if Spider-Man can resist the corrupting influence of Carnage and rip the symbiote from him, would he in turn create an even more powerful opponent, one who would know how to better survive against Spider-Man? I think it's an interesting question. However, Carnage is still at a major disadvantage in terms of raw stats and his non-symbiotic relationship with Cletus, and if Spider-Man is able to tear off the symbiote or prevent Carnage from ever bonding with him, the webhead would surely win with this massive advantage in the stats department, as well as his prior knowledge and experience with the Venom symbiote, who shares the same vulnerabilities as Carnage.
But if we assume that Carnage can take some of that Spidey strength after attempting symbiosis, I think Carnage has a much better chance, possibly pushing Spider-Man to the brink of death, more so than any other foe he's ever faced. However, Spider-Man's previous experience and will to win may end up prevailing in the end. After all, he knows Carnage's weaknesses and has faced off against Venom before.
But what do you guys think? Let us know down in the comments below. Is it a close match? Is it a stomp for either character? We want to know what you think. Thank you to Crisis as always for stopping by, and be sure to check out his channel linked below. Thanks for watching everyone, and remember the motto, it's Carnage versus Spider-Man over everything, and we'll see you guys next time.